Before we jump into this video, guys, I need you to do me a massive favor, and that's like, subscribe to this channel, click the bell, and just get involved. We're a few subscribers away from 100. It's a huge milestone, so just do it, and we'll jump in. Yes, people, yes, people, yes, people. Welcome back to the We Talk Football podcast. Now, me and Quakey weren't aiming to record a video today, but the footballing world exploded last night with the news of Messi no longer playing for Barcelona and Jack Grealish. It's official. A new record transfer for an English player, £100 million to City. Quakey, what are you thinking about these two huge stories?
Yeah, mad. So it's just the story on top of the story. I think we knew about the Grealish thing for a while now. It got confirmed yesterday. And like you said, £100 million is a hell of a lot of money for a player. And then to top it all off, the news of Messi, who's been at Barcelona since he's, like 11, 12 years old. And he's now leaving the club because they can't afford to keep him, which is absolutely insane. So yeah, it's been a crazy 24 hours of football. If we start with the Jack Grealish topic, he's I think he's worth it in terms of what he delivers off the pitch, the numbers off the pitch. You can see that, like, at work, we can see when Jack Grealish is trending online and people are very, very interested in him. And that's only been exacerbated as a result of the Euros and more eyes being on them. So Man City are buying Jack Grealish for the performances he can deliver on the pitch, but also the numbers that he delivers off the pitch. And now Man City have got a player, I know they've already got Phil Foden there, but they've got a player that young fans can identify with, and he can maybe bring new fans to Man City as well. So £100 million is steep, but I feel like ultimately he should be worth it for them.
100%, and I'm glad you said for the numbers on the pitch as well, because although he's, it's a lazy comparison, but he's almost like the modern day David Beckham, isn't he? You know, he's the larger than life character. He's the flamboyant character that even people that don't follow football, they gravitate towards. We saw that throughout the Euros. It's interesting though, when you really dive into it, he's a £100 million player and he's not even getting into the starting side of England. Madness.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's crazy. I think it's as a neutral, you know, I have to look at this as a neutral football fan, and it just excites me. It excites me. I feel like the Premier League is stronger as a result, and it's a shame to see Aston Villa lose one of their best players, especially when they're trying to build a project. But I think they've been compensated, fairly. And I think Jack Grealish covered himself in glory in the way he actually exited Aston Villa. I think the farewell post he did, you know, it's clear that he's leaving there with a heavy heart, but he's doing it to go to a footballing side in Man City where he expects to win trophies. He's partnering up with one of the best managers in world football, and he gets to play with, you know, an incredible squad, incredible squad. And the most incredible thing for me is I look at Kevin De Bruyne as being one of the best players the Premier League's ever seen, you know, and he's the most creative player. And I see Jack Grealish going in there. He's like 5 years younger than Kevin De Bruyne. And I see it as an opportunity for Jack Grealish to, you know, play with incredible players, raise his game even further, and even look to learn from people like Kevin De Bruyne. It's a benefit for English football. It's a benefit for the national team. It's a benefit for the Premier League. I think the Premier League's stronger. It's just such an exciting transfer.
Yeah, like you touched on the Kevin De Bruyne thing, Jack Grealish has come out and said himself that Kevin De Bruyne is his favourite player in the Premier League. He idolises him. He's somebody he looks up to, and he views him as being the best player in the world. So, yeah, like I say, he can definitely learn from him and improve his game. And it's going to be interesting to see where Pep actually plays him, because it's not that clearly defined if he's going to be an 8 or if he's going to be a wide man, or if he's going to play a false 9 or behind the striker. So, yeah, he's got an opportunity.
He's got the number 10 shirt. He's got the number 10 shirt. He's got the number 10 shirt,
which is... And another thing that you touched on there is the way that he's handled himself. And I feel like you can draw comparisons between Jack Grealish's situation and Harry Kane's situation in terms of how their teams have dealt with it. Jack Grealish had a clause put into his contract. We saw the Aston Villa CEO come out and really explain what the situation was. And Grealish made sure that when he signed his new contract, that there was a clause in there that if the team was playing Champions League football and they paid the buyout clause, that he would be free to leave and they wouldn't get in his way. If you look at Harry Kane, although I do back him trying to force the move away from Spurs, signing a 6-year deal with no buyout clause where you're being underpaid is not necessarily the best business. So it just kind of shows you that Jack Grealish has handled the situation perfectly in terms of how he's left Villa. There's no bitter taste in the mouths of Villa fans. They're happy with what he's given them, and Man City are happy with the player they've bought. So overall, it's a great deal for Man City. It's a great deal for the Premier League. Get to see Jack Grealish play under a great manager like you touched on, and it's just been exciting to see how he performs in the City team.
Yeah, and I suppose the next question is, are we expecting to see some Man City players leave out the departure gates? Do you know what I mean? Like, who do you expect to leave the club as a result?
I think Bernardo Silva goes. I know Pep speaks very highly of him, but I feel like his time at City's done. He's had a couple of decent seasons, but I know last season was very quiet. He wasn't in the team that regularly. So I think Bernardo Silva goes. I think they keep hold of Riyad Mahrez. And we see what happens with the Harry Kane situation if he does go to City, whether they shift anybody else. But it's, there's going to have to be some shifts at City and some movement. And I feel like Pep's doing a great job of like evolving this team, because 2-3 years ago, this team was very much centered around Aguero, David Silva and company.
Okay.
And now you see the evolution of this team, and now Kevin De Bruyne is the fulcrum of that team, and bringing in players like Jack Grealish can only develop this team further. So Pep's evolving this team maybe more than we've seen other managers do, more modern managers like Jose Mourinho, who just had their team, they win trophies to that team and then they leave. Pep's actually trying to develop and build something at City. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how they do next season, but it's very, very exciting stuff for the Premier League.
100%, mate. It, as I've already said, it only makes the Premier League stronger. It's depressing as a West Ham fan because, like I said in the podcast the other day, if you haven't checked it out, first long-form interview in a while was on our Spotify. But like I was saying the other day, I feel like Man City are favourites before they even get Jack Grealish and Harry Kane. And now that they've got Jack Grealish, I just feel like the gap has grown even more. And yeah, you were talking about Pep Guardiola trying to further the side. He's made some tough calls, even like if we go back in time, when he took Joe Hart out the side, and everyone was questioning that because he's been such a loyal servant, but he's brought in players like Edison, and Edison's one of the best keepers in the world now. So it's an intriguing signing. I don't think you can see it and not be excited. I know you're a Chelsea fan and they're a direct rival to you, but I just see that and it excites me. I'm so excited to see the player that Jack Grealish can become because, like I've mentioned, he's the larger than life character. He's the guy that does the flamboyant things on the pitch, and he's also backing it up with numbers. So I just hope it takes him to the next level.
One thing that I will take umbrage with in terms of the numbers, we haven't seen this guy score more than 10 league goals in a season, which is, he creates a lot, but we need to see that cutting edge now. We need to see him hit those numbers, because when you go for that much money, there's an expectation for you to hit a certain amount of numbers. So he's going to have to maybe work on that a little bit. But being at Man City and being surrounded with the players that he is surrounded by, he's definitely going to start hitting those numbers for sure.
For sure. And speaking of players with, extraordinary numbers, arguably the best player of all time last night dropped a bombshell. Well, he didn't drop a bombshell. Barcelona dropped a bombshell that Lionel Messi will no longer be at the club. Where does he go, Kwaku? Where does he go? It's huge news.
The Spanish league, La Liga, is in an absolute state at the moment, and the fact that Barcelona can't afford to keep Lionel Messi and he's about to walk out the door for free, or he has walked out the door for free, is crazy. It's absolutely crazy. Like you say, arguably the greatest player of all time, served Barcelona, I was going to say adequately. He's immensely over the last couple of decades, and the fact that the club have not got the infrastructure in place, or the foresight or the planning to put together a package where they can actually have Lionel Messi play for them for the rest of his career is insane to me. So that's, I can't believe that he's actually going to be leaving. But in terms of the destination for Lionel Messi, it's got to be PSG, I think. There's been talks today about, I saw Fabrizio Romano come out of a tweet saying the talks are ongoing between Messi representatives and PSG. And I feel like that's the only realistic destination. I mean, if Man City were to go in for him, then that's another horse in the race. But I feel like their heart is set on Harry Kane. So yeah, PSG seems like the likely destination for Lionel Messi, in my opinion. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, I think you're right. I don't want to disrespect French football, but I don't really care about the French league, if I'm honest. Yeah. It's a league where I know obviously they didn't win it this year, but PSG more often than not just run away with the league, and they can afford to pay their players more than anyone else. And I'm just not interested in seeing arguably the best player in the world play in the French league. I just got no interest in that. I want to see him play in the Premier League. As a football fan, I want to see the best players playing in this league. That's why I'm 100% Chelsea signing Romelu Lukaku. That's why, the Haaland links to everywhere. I want to see him come there. I want to see Mbappe at Liverpool. I want to see, Messi reunite with Pep Guardiola at City and just create the romance of football. Because if he goes to PSG, ultimately, I understand that he's got nothing to prove. He's won everything in the game. He'll go down as arguably the best ever player to play the game. And, he can just see his career out in the sunset in the French league, winning a few Ligue 1 titles. But for me, I just want to see him do it at Burnley on a Wednesday. Not that I'm saying he couldn't. Not that I'm saying that he couldn't. Yeah. But I just want to see it, Yeah.
Yeah, I completely feel you.
Yeah, just to talk about La Liga, because I know you mentioned how it's in dire straits for you now. Apparently, Messi was on like around £100 million worth of wages per year on his previous contract. Obviously, that's now since expired. And apparently, according, I was listening to TalkSport yesterday. Apparently, he was going to take a pay cut of, halving his wages to around £50 million. Sorry, 50 million euros it would have been. But apparently, even with the new, the new La Liga pricing restrictions and financial restrictions that are put in place, Barcelona still couldn't do half the wages. So it's an interesting time. I don't know what happens to Barcelona from here or Real Madrid from here. I don't know how the league really strengthens, and you can understand why they stayed in the ESL, the Super League, assassination attempt on football for so long, because it was almost like they had the foresight to see that if we don't do this, we're going to lose our best player at the end of the season. You know what I mean?
And also, like, it's crazy to see the demise of a league. And I know, like, when Ronaldo walked out the door at Real Madrid without much fanfare, there wasn't Real Madrid fans crying to keep Cristiano Ronaldo. Obviously, they're Barcelona fans crying to keep Lionel Messi. But just kind of, my mind just harks back to a time of seeing Benzema, Bale, and Ronaldo, and Messi, Neymar, and Suarez bad up in El Clasico year in, year out. And now you look at those teams and they're a shadow of their former selves. So, yeah, that league is in dire straits. And how they recover from here, who knows? I know there was an investment from a private firm, or they bought or they're attempting to buy 10% of the league to help fund the league. But yeah, it's problematic over there. One thing that I do want to hark on is the business that PSG have done, though. Just like bringing in Donnarumma on the free and potentially bringing Messi in on free. It's crazy. And Ronaldo comes on the free. It's crazy business.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, if they do bring in, well, they're posturing to win the Champions League. Let's be honest, they're bringing in a proven winner in Wijnaldum, who's won the Champions League with Liverpool. Donnarumma's arguably the best keeper in the world at the moment, especially the best young keeper, had a really, really strong Euros. And Lionel Messi has been there, done that, owns the entire wardrobe, let alone the t-shirt. So it's like, hats off to PSG. I don't dislike PSG. I don't feel any type of way towards them. When they're in the Champions League, I want to see them do well because I like Mbappe. I want to see Neymar get another Champions League, and I want to see them win this. But I would still rather see Messi come to the Premier League. I still want to see Mbappe come to the Premier League. It's just one of them things.
Yeah, no, 100%. I agree with you.
But in the meantime, it's been a crazy 24 hours in football. Where can everyone find us, Griggs?
So you can find us on Twitter at WTF Podcast 90, on Instagram at We Talk Football Podcast. We are on Spotify, like Jamie touched on. We did a long form podcast, so you can check that out. Apple Podcasts as well, all major streaming platforms. And make sure you subscribe to our channel and like this video, and we'll be back with more videos very, very soon.
Cheers, guys. Catch you next time.